Hello, welcome back, Bishop T.D. Jake stepping aside from the pulpit he had dominated for decades to let his daughter, Sarah Jakes Roberts, step into the spotlight. In 2022, when he laid hands on her and publicly passed her the spiritual torch at the Potter's house, the world of faith was moved. The images went viral, the moment felt monumental, and Sarah was praised for representing a younger, more modern ministry style. But now, just a few years later, things don't seem as smooth or settled as they appeared. Whispers are now turning into full-on conversations, and there's one question on everyone's lips: did Bishop Jakes really let go, or is he quietly taking it all back? At first, everything seemed clear. Sarah was stepping up with her Woman Evolve movement, commanding social media, podcasts, and large events with an energy that felt fresh and deeply personal. Her transparency, her vulnerability, and her emotional intelligence won the hearts of a generation. Yet beneath that shiny surface, Bishop Jakes never actually left. He remained behind the scenes, involved in decisions, steering the church's broader direction. Now, according to multiple sources, he's doing more than just observing. He's stepping back into full leadership, and not everyone is thrilled. Around late 2024, Bishop Jakes began showing up more and more, not just on stage, but in private meetings. He started calling the shots on staffing and operations again, requesting reports, and reassuming roles that had seemingly passed to Sarah. There was no public announcement, but his presence was unmistakable. He wasn't retired, he was reactivated. Some even argue he never truly relinquished power, only repositioned himself temporarily. That realization has stirred discomfort among churchgoers and staff. Some say they always knew Bishop Jakes would never fully walk away. Others feel confused. When Sarah was elevated, it was framed as a transition of trust and legacy. But if her father is stepping back in so forcefully, what does that say about the transition? Was it incomplete, or worse, symbolic? And it doesn't help that behind the scenes, tensions have reportedly grown. Sarah's leadership style, built on compassion, conversation, and emotional healing, has resonated with many, especially younger believers. But for those who grew up under Bishop Jakes' powerful prophetic preaching, her approach feels too soft. They long for the depth, the fire, the conviction they associate with the older generation. Her sermons touch hearts, but for some, they don't cut deep enough into scripture. Some have even accused her of watering down the gospel in favor of cultural relevance. The internal church atmosphere began to shift further in early 2025. Changes to worship formats, staff departures, and Sarah's own public admissions about her ongoing healing journey raised eyebrows. One sermon in particular, where she opened up about still finding her spiritual footing, sparked a debate. Was she truly ready to carry the full weight of such a historic ministry? Around that same time, reports swirled that Bishop Jakes was becoming uneasy with how things were unfolding. He began reasserting himself, sitting in on planning meetings again, and signaling a return to traditional structure. Some close to the ministry described it as a spiritual tug-of-war. Staff members seemed to take sides, some favoring Sarah's vision, others firmly loyal to Bishop Jakes' authority. And then came the moment no one expected. Bishop Jakes took the stage one Sunday in spring 2025, completely unannounced. The sanctuary erupted in surprise and awe. His preaching was as intense as ever, full of bold declarations and sharp metaphors. But what really grabbed attention wasn't just what he said, it was how he said it. Lines like "the shepherd doesn't abandon the sheep" and "we've gotten too comfortable with cute over-conviction" were heard by many as subtle jabs, perhaps aimed at his daughter's style. He never mentioned her directly, but longtime followers heard what they believed was a father correcting his daughter publicly, and from the pulpit, the sermon clips went viral, and suddenly, the church world was buzzing. Was he reclaiming the pulpit? Was this a quiet leadership reversal? As he began appearing in more services and events, and even resumed chairing key leadership meetings, the shift was undeniable. Whatever the original plan had been, it was no longer unfolding that way. According to sources close to the family, the transition had never been entirely peaceful. Though Sarah honored her father publicly and continued to quote his teachings, Tension reportedly brewed behind the scenes. One particularly telling incident involved her plans to expand Woman, evolve into a full church movement, complete with its own staff and services. The vision was ambitious, but Bishop Jakes allegedly shut it down before it could take off, citing concerns about clarity, direction, and spiritual oversight. After that, communication between the two reportedly stalled for weeks. Observers began noticing subtle changes in how father and daughter interacted on stage. In one joint appearance, a moment where Bishop Jakes cut Sarah off mid-sentence sparked speculation. Was it just playful or a quiet assertion of dominance? Online, debates ignited. Some defended Bishop Jakes, calling his return necessary for preserving spiritual depth. Others saw it as an uncomfortable power grab that undermined Sarah's ministry. This wasn't just about two pastors. It was about the future of church leadership as a whole. What happens when the old guard tries to hand off the mantle but then second-guesses the next generation's path? Is it possible to let go without fear, to trust without control? Or are we witnessing a deeper crisis, one where tradition and innovation are clashing inside sacred walls? Inside the Potter's house, reactions were mixed. Some longtime members were overjoyed to see their beloved bishop back in charge. For them, his presence brought security and spiritual authority. One elder member was quoted as saying, "When he preaches, heaven responds. I love Sarah, but I need Bishop." Others, particularly younger congregants, felt displaced. Sarah had made the church feel accessible, warm, and emotionally safe. For them, her voice had become vital in a faith space often dominated by rigid doctrine. Her ministry wasn't just preaching, it was healing.